Okay guys, before I start this review off, I'm simply going to say this. This is a spoiler-free review of Avengers Endgame. I will not spoil a single thing. I'm going to be pretty vague in this review. So if you don't like that, well screw you, because the spoiler thing is really serious with this movie. So I was like, opening night. I saw it opening night, but it's 3 hours, so I didn't get a review on it. And also, I really couldn't review it, because I was like, I really need to process this movie. And if I do have green marks there, we had some like ceremony thing at school. They had to put green face paint, war paint, or whatever. It was stupid. Everything's stupid. But it will be spoiler-free for Avengers Infinity War? No. I will be spoiling any Marvel movie I wish to in this review for my convenience. Probably only Infinity War. Everybody knows what happens at the end of Infinity War. But just for those of you who haven't seen it. So, go see Endgame. Just go see it. Watch this review, then go see Endgame. Okay, just do that.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar.
Avengers Endgame. And I'm actually saying that, and I still can't comprehend that I've seen the movie. So Avengers Endgame is the newest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 4th Avengers movie. My opinion, oh, I did get a comic book Avengers shirt, because that old Captain America shirt got some on me, so I was like, I need a Marvel shirt, and I'm going to get that off a bit. Okay, so Avengers Infinity War is the next movie in Marvel Cinematic Universe, the 22nd movie into this universe. And you guys don't know me, I've reviewed this entire series since like mid-March. I've been reviewing every Marvel movie to make sure I have a review up for every single one for my hype for Endgame. Now I have done that, and now I can review Endgame. And yeah, I've been waiting for this movie for so long. Sure, Infinity War had the hype train behind it, but Endgame is really the conclusion of this universe. Everybody agrees on that. It's way longer. Like, this movie's freaking 3 hours. Insane. It's way longer, and it really is the conclusion of this universe. And I'm not really going to give a synopsis to this movie, because everybody knows what it's about, but if I were, I'd probably say the Avengers try to pick up the broken pieces of Avengers Infinity War. That's the best I can say, without spoiling it. It's really the best I can say, because there's a lot that happens in this movie. First thing I'm going to say about this movie is the marketing was great. The marketing for this movie barely gave away anything. All it said is, they are going to go get everybody back. They want to get everybody back. They need to avenge them, the Avengers. That's kind of what this whole movie was, the whole deal about this movie was. And that was interesting to me, because, like, sure, that's the tone we're going with, right? You know, after Infinity War. So the marketing for this movie is great. It totally doesn't give away anything that happens in this insane 3-hour movie, but first thing I'd like to start all the reviews off is this, that the movie's acting is some of the best the MCU's seen quite yet. Some of the acting in this movie is flippantastic. I thought Scarlett Johansson's the main standout as being the best improvement. She has some really good emotional scenes in this movie. I really dug her character. Tony Stark, or I guess Robert Downey Jr., is great as Iron Man. Everybody's great in their roles, but some of them do even better than they usually do. Especially Robert Downey Jr., especially Scarlett Johansson, and Chris Evans. All those guys do great in this movie. And yeah, this is going to be really hard to review this movie. I keep thinking the movie, and then when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking all the spoilers about the movie. And then I got to review it without spoiling the whole thing. But a lot of people commentate on how Avengers Infinity War, which by the way, my thoughts on that movie, that is my favorite Marvel movie. It is a great movie. It is exciting, fun, it's non-stop, it's fast-paced fun. But this movie, look, this, like the last movie, you know who's kind of Thanos' movie? Avengers Endgame is the Avengers movie. This movie does not have nearly as much Thanos. Not nearly as much. It's more focusing on the drama of the Avengers. There's a lot less action in this movie compared to Age of Ultron or any of the Avengers movies. Or any of the Marvel movies in general, probably. It has some of the least action and some of the most action at the same time. It has the least action, essentially, pretty much. But mainly, this movie is really epic. Like, that's one of the best ways to describe it. It is an epic. And really, I was like thinking, how are you gonna satisfy me with this being the conclusion? This is the biggest conclusion of all time. Gotta satisfy me. I cannot think of a more satisfying way to end the MCU. There is so much care put into this movie and its writing. I was blown away by this entire movie. I couldn't review it last night. I was thinking I'm not going to have time to review it, but that wasn't the main reason. It was actually because I was like, I can't review it. I really have to wait. It really has to sink in. And not letting it sink in for a day, it has sunk in. And I'm trying to be as vague as I possibly can without letting you guys go in with certain expectations. But that's just my problem here, I guess, isn't it? God, this movie, it's almost hard to review it because it's like everything in the movie is amazing and epic. But one thing I will have to say is this. A lot of critics have said that the second act is slow, and I'm not on board with that at all. This entire movie to me was fast, and weirdly enough, one of my biggest criticisms towards this movie, if I had to give one, would be it's too short, to be honest. There's so many scenes in this movie that, like the third act, I think could have been a lot longer. It didn't need to be. It was kind of it feels short because maybe it's just because it's so entertaining. But the third act of this movie could have been a lot longer. The majority of the movie, a lot of scenes felt really rushed. Like, not really rushed, and it wasn't a big deal. Most of the scenes I sunk in what happened. I was like, alright, I'm getting what's happening. It is going a bit fast. But I was surprised by how fast the movie goes. At the beginning, it's pretty slow. But eventually it's like, alright, we're gonna go a bit faster now. And it is, so it's a fast-paced movie. And it never gets boring. Like, for a 3-hour movie, it never drags. And I never felt, this movie is 3. I never felt like it was 3 hours. It felt like at the most 2.5. It never felt like I was sitting there watching a 3-hour movie. And a lot of people have said already, oh, the ending is like Return of the King. You know, it's like, oh, this is the ending. No, I'm just kidding, this is the ending. And a lot, yeah, sure, whatever. The ending is amazing. And I wasn't thinking about that when I was watching. I was thinking, whoa. That's what I was thinking at the ending of this movie. I wasn't thinking, why does this keep going on and going on and going on? So many people have said that's what happens, and I disagree. But at its core, this movie is about wrapping up the MCU, or as we have right now. And best way to do that is the characters. That's what the center of this universe is. The characters of the universe. Nothing in this universe is as important as some of these characters are. And the way to wrap up the cinematic universe is obvious. Focus on these characters. Focus on the drama between them. There are some amazing dramatic scenes in this movie between two characters. There's one scene in particular. I loved it. It was amazing. It was these two characters. They're having this interaction, and it was amazing. That sounded really sexual, but not in that way, but it was very entertaining to watch. And it was really emotional and good. And that scene right there, I'm not going to spoil. I'll talk about it in my huge spoiler review. It'll be huge. And I know everybody's like, don't spoil the Endgame, but I'm giving you guys a big spoiler warning. So I'm not sure if I'm actually disobeying the Russo brothers' rule here if I give them a spoiler warning. Am I really? Is it like a huge rule here that if I give a spoiler warning, I'm still not allowed to spoil the Endgame? I ain't gonna spoil the Endgame for anybody unless they ask me what happens at the end, which actually, yes. Being a kid who saw Endgame on opening night with a couple of friends, kids would ask, what happens at the end? And I'd have to say, do you really want to know? And then I tell them what happens at the end of the movie. But the movie mainly is focusing on characters. And yes, you may have cried at Marvel movies before. You definitely have gotten a bit emotional. Maybe you're one of those, no, I never cry. But you've at least gotten a bit emotional in some of these movies. There's Civil War, kind of emotional, not like too cry-worthy, but it's emotional. Infinity War is the main target I'm looking at here. So many people cried during that movie, but boy, there's a scene in this movie. I started quivering, I was crying, and then my friend just looks at me and I say, I'm legitimately crying right now. Like, I got really emotional at this one scene. And you will know it when it happens. Yeah, you're gonna cry. Who isn't gonna cry? It gets super emotional at a certain point in this movie. And actually, my audience, the whole audience is silent for a bit. Somebody makes a joke, and I can hear everybody just go, like, you can hear everybody sniffle, because I'm like, everybody's in tears right now. And at the end, I asked my 17-year-old brother, did you cry? And he's like, yep, I cried. And I'm like, that's how you know when your movie's successful. When you make two teenagers who are supposed to be, no, well, hardcore Fortnite, whatever. We're supposed to be super cool or whatever. All our goal is to be cool. We never cry, but I'm not like that. I'm not an egotistical middle schooler. And yes, I will cry in movies. And I have before. I've teared up in movies before. I teared up in Infinity War. I teared up at The Hate U Give, weird one. But this movie's the first time I started to cry. I got super emotional. I cried twice, actually. I think I did. It was like a bit, and it was like, okay, let's rest. Now I'm just kidding, we're gonna cry again, and then I got a bit more emotional. But it's mainly the first time that I cried a lot. There's that. Third act of this movie, won't spoil it, but all I'll say is it is so much insanity. There's so much going on in this third act. And that is why I do think the third act definitely didn't need to be as long as Windows, but when the third act, you could tell it's kind of coming to a close. I was like, don't end. This is so entertaining. And another thing I have noticed is this. I went through it to search for some clips online that people had released on YouTube. Do not search for clips. There are huge spoilers. I was like thinking, oh, just minor spoilers, right? I searched it. Oh my god. The biggest spoilers in the movie, possibly. So just don't. Please don't. You will ruin the entire movie for yourself, and you will hate yourself for life. And this is not going to be one of my longest reviews, weirdly. You'd think Avengers Endgame. It might be. Maybe I'll drag this thing out to that long, because my synopsis at the end will probably be pretty long. But essentially, this won't be as one of my longest reviews, but I'll drag it out maybe. But just don't search Endgame spoilers. You're going to get some big spoilers. One thing I do want to fair warn about is that there aren't post-credit scenes. I'd recommend you stay for the first credits because just tribute to the MCU guys. It's great credits. They're very well done credits. After those credits, you can leave because they're the scrolling credits, and nothing's interesting about those. So you can get out of the theater then. You don't have to sit down for 3 hours. I did because I was like, post-credit scene maybe? But nope, no post-credit scene. So there's that. And I'm fine with that. The ending of the movie kind of sets up Phase 4, which I'm happy about. This isn't... A lot of my friends are like, oh, they're making more Marvel movies, and I was like, yeah. Yeah, they are. There are a lot more to come. And I'm excited for that. This movie, as well, at the end, I was like, I can't wait for Spider-Man this summer. I'm super excited for the movie because I'm like, I want to see more Marvel. This is how to treat your fans. This is a fans movie. It focuses on every character, develops the characters, shows how much Thanos impacted them in Infinity War. And it shows to the fans, there's a lot of fan service in this movie too, and a lot of critics can go, oh, fan service, oh, preposterous. But if, my opinion on fan service is this, I'm fine with it. I like it when it's there. But when that's the only thing about your movie, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, then I'm not going to like your movie at all. I need good story, good characters, and good anything else. Just fan service is cool to have in a movie. And then Game realizes that, and it's like, look, we have fan service because this is Endgame. What do you expect we're going to give our fans for Endgame? And they gave me fan service, and I was very pleased with that. So there was a lot of moments in this movie of, I remember that. Ah, that's cool. There's a lot of moments like that, and I was very pleased by those moments. But to wrap it up, sorry for the camera stopping there, but really, when I thought about it, there's not really a movie that I just purely have seen in the theater and loved as much as this one. Because in the end, Avengers Endgame perfectly caps off the cinematic universe. It is the 11-year build-up of this movie, and it gives us a payoff of epicness. There's so much to this movie that works. So much action, so much development. It's a 3-hour movie. Doesn't feel like it at all. I'm going to see this movie multiple times in theaters, definitely. This is a phenomenal movie. This is the best movie I've seen all year. It destroys fighting with my family. And honestly, it destroys Infinity War for me. Like, I love Infinity War. Favorite Marvel movie. But Endgame is it blows it out of the water. I'm serious. This movie is perfect. It gives us the perfect cap off to the MCU. It's perfect. It's awesome. It's emotional. It gives us everything we want. I cried with the movie. I cheered multiple times. There's so many moments where I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I actually cheered. That never happens in movies. But I had a great experience with this movie. I'm going to go see it again. I'm actually thinking of not reviewing that Ugly Dolls movie next week and seeing Endgame again just because I loved it so much. That means nothing for you guys. But seriously, that's how much I like this movie. This movie caps off the MCU. It makes you cry. Everybody's going to cry at this movie. Nobody's not. It's emotional. It's exciting. It's good. This is, without question, the best Marvel movie, easily. It's without question my favorite movie of the year. And if I'm really going to be honest, there's not going to be a movie this year that's going to beat it. Star Wars 9 has no hope. But honestly, there's not a superhero movie I think I like more than this movie. I think this is my favorite superhero movie of all time, honestly. If I could give this movie something higher than my perfect rating, I would. If there was a higher rating, I would give it to it, but there isn't. So, I'm going to have to settle for this rating. But I'm going to give Avengers Endgame an easy 10 out of 10. Like I said, that rating, I wish I could give it something higher, which was a 15 out of 10 or something like that. 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10. Something bigger, but I'm going to stick to, it has to be 0 to 10. Those are the ratings I give out, because I actually put it on a percentage scale when I'm doing it, but I only give it out of 10 ratings on YouTube. So when I make lists that you can't really already know what my list is, if I gave you percentages, you really could do that. So I just give out of 10, I just give out of 10 ratings. But that means 0 out of 10 is a rating that exists. And nothing goes above 10 out of 10, because 100% is the highest percent in existence. There can be 200% correct, but 200% is times 2. So, yeah, I can't go above 10 out of 10. There's no rating above that one. And if there was, I would give Endgame. And if there was the I would give this movie the highest rating possible of any category. This movie blew my mind. I adored it. Don't let it get spoiled for you, this movie. Just freaking leave the internet and see it tonight. I mean, I guess I'm uploading this at night. But see it as soon as you can. Leave the internet. See it as soon as you can. And if you comment below spoilers without giving a spoiler warning, I'm deleting your comment. I might not report you because I'm not going to put that much work into it, but I will delete your comment. You post it again, it's deleted. Just don't post spoilers without saying spoiler warning, and you have to do a couple enters until someone can click read more. That is the rule. And if you don't do the read more, I will simply reply to you saying to make sure that you have to click read more to do it. And if somebody does post it, maybe I won't do that. But just make sure I have a spoiler warning for any spoilers if you choose to post them, which I doubt anyone will choose to post them. But if you do, spoiler warning, very attacked there. Yeah, just go see this movie. I'll be making a ranking of the MCU, and I'll be making a spoiler review. I'll be making a box office video. I'll be making a Phase 4 video. I'm going to be making only Marvel videos for the next few days. And then maybe next week, if I choose to see Endgame again, no videos next weekend. But I might choose to see Ugly Dolls just to get one more video out. Then I got the next month, which is awesome because I got Pikachu one week, John Wick the next week. I get Aladdin the next week, but I get End of School the next week, so I don't care about Aladdin. Then I get Godzilla the next week. And so I'm super excited for May. That's actually a month I'm excited for, finally. Kind of hated this year so far. There are some great movies, but there are some bad movies. And Endgame is the best movie of the year, and no other movie will beat it. So yeah, what are your spoiler-free thoughts on Avengers Endgame? See you guys next time. Bye.